Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. I am your host, champion and commissioner, Team Ramrod Empire. This week I have two guests with me. I have Kyle, former GM of Team Rocket, and I have Corey, the GM of RoboWolf. Thanks for joining me, boys.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Exciting week as it is the final week of our regular season. Finally, the playoffs are upon us, and everyone will be battling to get their name on this prestigious trophy. Not a lot of different names on here, and a lot of the regulars are in the playoff hunt. So it'll be interesting to see if someone new can get their name on it, or if we see some of the same old, maybe a little more Team Ramrod. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll see what happens. Before we get into this, anyone have anything they want to say before we get into this exciting rundown of last week? No, you guys
No,
are ready to get this fucking done. All right, let's talk
Yeah,
about last week's results. Before we get into that, though, predictions from last week were fucking great between Corey and I. Um, Corey went 7 for 8, with his only mistake being choosing Sean over Domo.
which we
Uh,
knew was my Hail Mary.
And I went 8 for 8 since we had similar
Nice.
picks except for that one matchup.
Yeah. It was a lot of safe bets last week.
And I'd like to think that that's what it is this week. But I don't know, like it's still early in the week, so things can happen. But
The only
last
thing
week, sorry,
the only thing safe right now, but this week is that Plums is taking home in the Golden Cock.
is it
And
getting
it
hard
looks
right now?
and Sean is showing up
That's
for Sean
unfortunate.
for Sean.
That's unfortunate. I really want to see Sean win that, but you just feel bad for the guy. He never wins anything in this league.
never.
Last week, Ramrod Empire, 12-6-2 now in third place, defeating Don't Try the Beef, 11-8-1 in sixth place. Kyle, what happened here?
You had a pretty good week, and Daltrey put up a pretty good fight, but wasn't enough at the end of the week.
Yeah, Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, this was a fun one to watch all week, right? I think going into the Sunday night games, Daltrey had the lead by one. So there's a few close categories. Both of you had solid weeks, like nothing overly impressive, but not bad at all. Two shorthanded points and a shutout really served to be the difference. Your goalies had a really good week. Yeah, big for you to solidify a playoff position right near the top there in third. It makes it interesting, right? I was kind of hoping for a loss here just to see you get an eighth, just because you made it seem like there's not a chance, but
Told you there was
there
no
was a
chance.
chance. There was a chance.
Told you it wasn't happening. Those shorthanded points both came on Sunday. Um, the Rangers, Savannah Jag got me two shorthanded points on the same power play. It was beautiful. Um,
Wow.
that's part of the appeal of Zibanejad when I went for him was that he plays the penalty kill. The Rangers do score a lot of shorthanded points. They're top three team with Florida, and I forget who the other one is, but they're top three shorthanded point scorer, right? So
That's why I didn't drop Kreider, even though he's not doing great. The odd game, he could take a week in it with a point there, right? Like,
that's it. That's it. And he can put up some hits, right? He's still useful.
yeah, he's not that bad, yeah, but makes a difference.
But yeah, I thought this was a preview of what Daltrey can expect, possibly in the first round should things fall that way. He's just not on my level. I'll see you next year, Daltrey. Maybe next week, who knows? But after that, it'll be next year.
Is just to clarify, is there a bet on this year's season between you two?
There is a bet, not between our teams specifically. We have a bet that he made a statement that Lafreniere would be an easily 70-point player this year. And I jumped on that right away because I knew that was bullshit. Uh, they called him out. I said, I will take
Yeah.
that bet. Um, our usual bet, a six pack that we will share together, but there is a bet. Hero, 6-9-5 in 12th place. Losing to Fetch Me a Drink, 11-7-2 in fifth place. Dan pretty much clinching. I don't know if he is clinch. I didn't check the actual
Yeah.
standings.
Yeah, he's
Clinching a
clutch.
playoff spot. Good for him. What happened here, Kyle?
I think it's a case of the Rangers showing up and the Maple Leafs not showing up. And the Rangers came through big for Dan. And of course, having Makar helps as well. 2 goals, 6 assists. Uh, Although I don't think he didn't get goals or assists, but
No.
it's always nice.
Yeah, 5 goalie stats for Dan really drew the difference here. His players had quite a mediocre week, besides from 3 shorthanded points. Um, but yeah, his goalies carried him through for a win, which is big. But it's Mark, so
Yeah, no one has high expectation of Mark's team except Mark, because he's fucking delusional. But that's all right. Big win for Dan. This is another one of my possible playoff opponents. Should things fall and all the favorites win this week, then Dan will. There's a possibility that he matches up with me. It's for me. It's him, Daltrey, or Daltrey. Is how it should fall for me. I didn't really look at anyone else's line prospects. I'm more concerned with Team Ramrod's path. So I'm not as familiar of who you might play, Corey, but
yeah.
I imagine it's probably the same group because one of them will drop down to seventh.
Yeah, I hope Dan beats me, just so that the four in the middle that play each other are you, Daltrey, Nick, and Dan. Like likely. And I think that
If you beat Dan, you could play him next week.
I know I could, and I'd rather not. I'd rather face Nick or Domo. So, but we'll see. There's a lot of it's so crazy, the standings. Not really for the playoff race for the last spot like we've seen in some previous years. But
The
the mix of
positioning.
who's going to play who.
No one knows who's played anyone really. There's nothing is set because
No,
all the
nothing.
teams in the middle are just so close. But big win for Dan. Good for him, clinching the playoff spot. Um, we'll see what if he can do anything in the playoffs, any damage. I know last year he did some damage. He took out Sauce,
Yeah,
denying the league of the matchup that they wanted to see, just to fucking fold like laundry in the fucking.
that's a matchup that you and Nick wanted to see. That's it. Nobody else in the league wanted to see that
No one
matchup.
wanted to
Okay.
see the top two teams in the league.
I'm with
Nope.
Corey on this one. Nobody wanted to see you in the finals.
That's fair, but you
Yeah.
knew I was going, so
Yeah.
you might as well at least hope that Nick, who was the
Nope.
top team in the regular season, take me down. Corey didn't hope that I was going because he was playing me in the semis, but.
The new season. New season. Let's move on from the
New
past.
season,
Okay.
same results, boys. Don't worry.
We're
Everyone
not
loves
worried.
Raymond. 8-10-2. Taking a loss. I forgot about Dre. 12-7-1 in fourth. Derek losing to half his roster from the regular season. Uh, Kyle, what happened here?
I like, yeah, like you said, Derek gave up half his roster. I actually didn't have a bad week, despite the fact that he gave up his roster. But Dre he's made all his moves for the playoffs. His team is ramping up and putting up excellent numbers, and that's what you see here.
In the ad, Corey?
Yeah, Derek's points were only in the goalie stats. He lost by 1 save. Dre had mediocre goalie stats, but players played really well. Um, so yeah, easy win for him there. Derek, I don't know why the quite a fall in the standings here. So we're not surprised by this outcome though.
No, because he sold. But if he didn't sell, like he probably could have won this week based on the goaltending performance. Um, he would have been at least in it, right? So I don't
Yeah,
know.
there was a few close categories.
Again, it's tough for pill for me to swallow a guy who was in a playoff spot decides to sell his team. Um,
It's almost worse than Travis selling before the season starts.
well, yeah, Travis should have been a playoff team had he kept his players, but you know, we won't get into that. We've talked about that quite a bit this year. But big win for Dre, solidifying pretty much a top four spot. I don't see him dropping down this week. I think he has a fairly easy matchup this week, so he should be where he is. Mentally Bedarded, 4-15-1, falling down to 16th place. Dropping the match to Patches a Hooligan, 10-8-2, who jumps into 8th place. Really setting up the one of the more interesting matchups this week. Kyle, what happened here?
Uh, Pat just had great goaltending. He had some great grinding. His player stats, well, they're okay. Got the job done. Pretty easy week for Patches as he moves towards clinching his playoff spot.
Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, Kyle didn't even get his goalie starts.
Oh,
So he
really?
actually lost shutout. He had a shutout and he lost shutouts still.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
so he really didn't have a terrible player week. He's just not active. So you're on a man game disadvantage already. There's already some injuries on his team. So then give up goalie stats. You're not Nick didn't have to have a huge week here. Big on him. Makes it interesting coming into this last week for him. So nice.
Well, if you're not going to pay attention and set your lineup and pick up your goalie starts on the wire, then you
Yeah,
fucking deserve that golden dick, bud. Um, so
I
I don't
agree.
feel bad then, based on that. So
Sean has not done that.
no, Sean at least tries because he thinks his
Yeah.
team is good, but you know, it's just not. It used to be good. He used to have some good pieces, and he moved them all out.
To you.
One of them to me for sure, and I'm not letting him go. He's going to stay on my team. Number one ranked player in
Till
our
he
league.
retires.
Not till he retires, until I need to move on from him. You know,
Yep.
it's all about choosing the right time to move on from those players. The Utah Wasatch here, 9-9-2 in ninth place, fighting for that playoff spot. Losing to the Braden bye week, 15-3-2 in first place. Kyle, what happened here?
Braden got some okay goaltending and a couple player stats, and that was enough to cobble together a victory against Casey. I wish Casey had played like this against me last week. I'd be in a different position.
Corey, anything to add?
Yeah, it was a close week. Casey, I think, had the lead on Sunday at one point. It was only by one. He lost by 2 goals, 1 assist, um, 1 shot. So like there's a lot of close categories. It was closer, just a big gap by the end of the week here, by the end of Sunday. It was a fight. Would have liked to see Casey win to take Braden down, but it makes it interesting this week.
Yeah, it's another one of those like Sundays that Braden wins. You know,
Squeezed out a win. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, good
and
on.
like he probably should have lost this week, but again, he did his usual, like get a win on Sunday. It's what he's been doing all year long. I don't think it's going to hold into the playoffs. I think this is the first round exit.
I don't know about first round. Depends who he matches up, but possibly a second round. He's not making it to the finals. I personally don't think that. But Brayden, you can always prove us wrong. Um, but I don't. I think his team has performed way better than they actually are. Like Kyle said, a lot of Sunday luck. But you can see he has 3 losses, 2 ties. One of each of those is Team Ramrod. He has not beaten Team Ramrod, and that's one of the teams he might run into in the playoffs. Another one of those losses for sure is forgot about Dre. So there's teams that he'll have to contend with who can handle what his roster puts out, right? So and we'll see how he does when he has to play against the big boys only and none of these fucking jobber teams. But we'll see. Who knows? Casey might get a chance at a rematch.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very well
he
could.
has some work to do.
Robo Wolf, 14-6-0 in second, taking down Sorokin these nuts, who's 7-12-1 in 13th place. Corey, what happened here? Talk about your team here.
Yeah, I mean, got some redemption on a loss earlier in the year to Neil, so that felt good. The team had a pretty good week. Not much to say.
Not much
Yeah,
to say.
Neil's goalies had a really good week, to be honest. Just sort of mine. Um, yeah,
Kyle, anything to add?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough goaltending battle, and they both brought home some goaltending points. Corey's team looked in fine form, like he's ready for a deep playoff run.
well,
We'll see. We'll see
So
what he does in the playoffs, you know. Hopefully for him he doesn't run into me because he can't beat me in the playoffs apparently.
hey, I don't know if I bet you earlier in the league, so I can't say too much. But I want to take you on. I want some redemption. I'm good.
He wants redemption.
What are
He
you
wanted
on?
redemption last
You
year
gotta
for the
fight the big
finals
boys.
loss and didn't get it, but
I know that was bittersweet, but that's all right.
that's all right.
New GM. I've learned from my mistakes. I'm a new GM
I
every year.
guess I can't wait to find out if that's true.
Yeah, I'm 1-0 against you this year, so but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some conspiracy as to why that happened.
Yeah, there was, but I don't remember what it was. It's so long
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, there's so many you can't keep track of them all.
Everyone's out to get me. When you're on top, they all want to take you down.
Yeah, you haven't been on top all season.
Well, I mean, the trophy here with my name on it, it says different, but
Hey, I said this season. This season.
TVT MF 5-15 and 0, 14th. Losing to Team Rocket 9-10 and 1 in 10th. Didn't take him long to change his name from Ash Ketchum once once Team Rocket defeated him there. What happened, Kyle?
I beat the fuck out of a 10-year-old boy, is what happened. And I beat him good. Uh, Travis got what he deserved. Uh, and I'm all for beating up Ash. You know, that way I get access to Ash's mom.
I'll let
Gotta
Professor.
catch them all.
Yeah. I'll be his daddy.
Yeah, and you might have had well, besides Travis, actually, like might have had the second worst goalie stats this week. Like your goalies did not show up. It's like you
Oh,
pulled your
fuck, I
goalies to
know.
beat them down even more with your player stats here because you did not compete with player stats though. But
I shouldn't have gone any of the goalie stats. And he,
nope,
he got 2 goalie wins to my 0 goalie wins, and I still managed to get 3 goalie stats.
yep, not shutouts. It was a 0-0 shutout tie.
Yeah.
Just your goalies. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I forget which one of his goalies got lit, but one of his goalies got lit badly.
yeah. But I lost to him, so I can't say too much.
Yeah. I
Not
can't
too
I
many
can't
people
brag
lost to
too
him.
much either.
I think his goalies put up a whole .1 goals against better or save percentage better than you though. I think it was 9.54 against me, 8.54. It's a big difference. But you slaughtered him. Must have felt good.
You know what? I didn't even watch this all week. I set my lineup and I didn't even pay attention to it all week. I was vacation mode because I was out of the playoffs. Like,
Well,
I didn't do
the
any
Travis
player
bye week.
pickups. I didn't do anything. I checked Monday morning, like, cool, I beat Travis. Uh, on to the next jobber who's not doing the job like he's supposed to right now.
Big win for you though. Like I don't know, it still matters. There's some pride on the line. You don't want to lose to Travis and have him be able to brag about that when his team is
Oh,
absolute trash.
fuck no.
You do not.
No, and I already having lost to him this season, like after all
Oh,
the shit talk, and I,
yeah.
I couldn't handle that smoke if I lost. There's no way.
The
Would have
last
deserved.
matchup, the Charlie Browns 4-15 and 1 in 15th, losing to Domo. Captain Crunch here pretty much clinching the spot. I believe he is. 10-7 and 3 in seventh place. What happened here, Kyle?
Yeah, Domo had a pretty average week. I think he got like a lot of goals and a lot of pims. But it was enough to put away the Charlie Browns. Sean's goaltending doing some good work for him. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
In the ad
Yeah.
court?
No, not really. Uh, not a great week. 172 saves for one goalie win from Domo. The goalie showing to be his weakness going into the playoffs here. Um, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him first round.
That's my preferred first round matchup as well. Um, One, because I just don't think his team's ever any good. And I just like playing against Domo for that reason.
I mean, it
So,
helps.
yeah, let's go take a look at the standings here. So everything clinched except for eighth. Um, I'd like to say the top spot is spoken for. Braden's first no matter what. You have the tiebreaker over me, so you're third or second no matter what. Um, I'm not guaranteed third. Uh, at least one team. I forgot about Drake could pass me. Possibly Dan as well if things go his way. I'm not safe in third, but I shouldn't finish any lower than fifth. And you got Dre in fourth with 25 points. A couple teams could catch him based on just the points. I don't know who has tiebreakers where though.
Yeah,
Svetch in fifth with 24. Daltrey and his dad at 23 points each. Patches needs a tie really, and he clinches. So
because he's playing Casey.
yeah, because he's playing Casey. It's a win and you're in battle between Patches and Casey. So it's nice to see that in the final week. Everyone else is worried about who's going to fall where.
Yep.
We
So it's
have
basically a four playoff championship for both those teams then. 4 week playoff. Sorry, I guess is
yeah,
what I meant to say.
yeah, exactly.
You would die for the extra week.
It's almost like a play-in round,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a wild card matchup.
Wild card, yeah.
You got Team Rocket sitting in 10th with 19 points. He could very well just finish a point or two out of a playoff spot. Um, Everyone loves
Sure.
Raymond, 18 points in 11th. Mark with 17 in 12th. Neil, 13th place with 15 points. And you got TVT with 10. Who would have thought he would have earned 10 points this year? Um, Charlie
More of it
Brown
is later. So
Charlie Brown's mentally bedarded, battling it out for the Golden Cock. I love to see it. Both
Yeah,
with 9 points.
it's not turned out to be much of a battle though,
no.
because even if I could pull out a victory this week, it's not going to be a landslide.
Let's take a look
Yeah.
here at this week's matchup, speaking of which. All right. So let's start off. Corey, the Ramrod Empire, third place, taking on the 11th place. Everyone loves Raymond. Who do you got?
Should be you. I haven't looked at everyone's except for the Golden Cock race in Casey, so I have no idea how close yours is actually.
Mine's pretty close, but it's still early in the week. My team only
Yeah.
shows up halfway through the week. Kyle,
Busy
who you
weekend.
got?
Yeah, I gotta go with you. I'm not too sure how solid this lead is right now, but I would have picked you at the beginning of the week. I'll still pick you because you're like you said, you're more of a weekend team.
The thing is, I'm gonna pick me as well. Obviously, I would have. The thing with my team is, yeah, you might get the jump on them early in the week, but because of the quality of players versus the quality on, like, let's say Derek's team, my guys should outperform his guys
On an
consistently.
average week. On an average week. Yeah.
Consistently. Maybe not the start of the week, but by the end of the week, they should put up more numbers. So that's why it's important to have good players on your team, boys. I've seen some people in the chat this week. Oh, I have a play and I'm winning situation, play and I'm in, win 'em in a min- and I'm in situation. Well, be better all fucking year, bud. Pick up better players, make better decisions, stack the odds in your
Well,
favor.
you know what? Maybe that's sound advice. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't I don't even know what to say to chirp you there.
No, it's just
Just like
but Buddy held on
it's
the
so.
NA goalies for like seven,
Oh,
8 weeks, 9 weeks
I
more.
agree.
Like, if you wanted to compete
Yep.
this year, you should have drafted a better goalie than a guy who you knew wasn't going to play this year.
Yeah.
It's
You know
okay
what
to
though? He pivoted. He adjusted. He learned his lesson. He's not.
a little
Yes.
late, but yes.
Yeah. But yes, 2 seasons too late. But
The thing is, I love that he picked up Askarov if he wasn't competing this year. When he decided to compete,
yeah,
he should have moved Askarov for a haul, including a starting goalie. Um, He picked up what Soderblom, who's not even playing anymore. He's playing every third game. And then you have the other goalie he got was Ingram, who he dropped.
yeah. But he has Saros.
He has Saros now, and that only
Yep.
cost him um fuck who
Ask no. Uh,
Blackwood. Blackwood.
Blackwood. Yeah. But you got Blackwood for 7.
Which is a good deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He turned. That was the one trade that to pivot his season.
Yeah. He should have it's easy in hindsight, but he should have drafted Gustafson when he was available. at that spot.
Yeah.
If goaltending was your weakness, like, and you wanted to compete now, then that's what you should have done. But it's easy to say that now. Well, anyway, we're
Yep.
getting off topic. Team Ramrod for the win this week against Derek. Otherwise, he'll be bragging about it in his logo for another fucking 8 months until the season starts.
Is that still from yours?
No, no, that's when he beat someone else. I think he beat Travis or someone who was trash talking. I think it may have been Kyle who was trash talking him. He said his team was trash and he just put it up. Before that, it was mine. Hero in 12th place, taking on Daltrey in 6th place. Who do you have here, Corey?
Gonna go with adultery.
That's it. Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Kyle, who you got?
Yeah, I got Daltrey, but it is Mark, and Mark could pull out a win here for sure. But I'll go with Daltrey.
Well, Mark could definitely pull out a tie because that seems to be what he does. Uh,
I hope he does pull out a tie.
That would be
I'm
fun.
expecting the favorites going into playoffs to win all these matches. I'm going with Daltrey. I think in the again goes down to the long run. Over the span of 7 days, I think Daltrey's team should outperform Mark's, and that's what I'm basing that on. Um, Daltrey doesn't want to lose because if he loses, he could end up with Team Ramrod as his opponent, and we all saw last week what that means for him. Forgot about Dre, 4th place, taking on Mentally Bedarded. Whew, big lead here. Corey, who you got?
I got mentally bedarded for the Caucasaurus. Yeah, obviously, I think Dick's gonna take this one pretty easily.
It doesn't look like he's trying right now. Um, Kyle, who do you got?
I think that is sound analysis from Corey. I'm going to have to agree with him.
Yeah, no argument here. Uh, Even like without the 13, the one that could have been 0-0, and I would have said hands down, Nick is going to take this easily.
Kyle could have been up 13-1. I'd still say it.
He still have faith that he would lose this week. I can't argue that either. I would still have faith that Nick's guys are better in the long run and going to take over. This is the matchup everyone's talking about. Casey in 9th taking on O'Brien in 8th. Corey, who do you have here?
Uh, I I don't even know who I want to win. That's how similar I think their teams are. Um, but you know, I think I voted for Casey in that poll, so I'll give it to Casey.
Oh yeah, there was a poll. Who do you got, Kyle?
Uh, I'm going to go with Patches. I think Patches is a better team. Patches' weakness is goaltending, but that's the same weakness that Casey has. And I think Patches has better players. So I'm going to go with Patches.
I went with Patches mostly because missing Jack Hughes for the rest of the year is a big blow to Casey. His goaltending isn't there. Not that Patches is like spectacular in his goaltending, but um, I just feel like missing Hughes, who's like your best player, is gonna hurt when you're trying to get into the playoffs. And I think that's just a moral beatdown for him. He's just gonna fold.
Are you
Yeah,
throwing in the towel?
throw it in the towel, essentially. Robo Wolf in 2nd, taking on Dan in 5th. Corey, who do you got here?
I think I should be able to squeak out a win, or else I didn't make my team good enough for a playoff run.
Well, let's see. Dan has a big history here of beating big teams in the playoffs. So, Kyle, who do you got here?
Um, just a little off topic before I get to that. Now, you had picked Dan to not make the playoffs this year, which he nearly didn't make it. And Corey and I went with Neil to
Who
not make
didn't?
the playoffs. He's not made the playoffs. We also you and I went with Braden to make the playoffs. And I was curious who you went with, Corey, as a surprise in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. I can't remember.
I think I went with Patches. I don't think he made it last year, right?
He didn't make it last year.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's who I went with as my prediction.
So yeah, this is coming down to the wire for that prediction.
Yep.
Oh, well, I think we're pretty spot on, you know, and even if you got Dan wrong, you nearly got it right. Uh,
I
you know,
feel
yeah,
his weak schedule actually helped him. So
that
the
makes sense.
long run, he played a lot of the non-playoff teams twice, which is a huge benefit to him making the playoffs. So
I mean,
There,
yeah, his losses were to the non-playoff teams though, so
yeah.
I think he just had a slow start to the year. He waited on a few people that actually started to pick it up. Like I talked to him about his team quite a bit, so I like that's my understanding of it. Like he picked up the guy from Detroit early in the draft who had a really slow start of the year. The guy from Chicago, can't remember his name now. He played in Chicago for a while,
Hmm.
but he really had a slow start to the year. He signed a big contract in Detroit, uh, and now he's turning it around. Now I have to look because it's going to bother me. But like Marchenko, he picked up on the wire and he's killing it in Columbus. I'm
Oh,
shocked. Yeah,
Marchenko was out for a while though. I think I was it.
but we got 6 minutes left. So
Oh,
DeBrincat. That's who I was thinking of.
oh,
okay.
to break
Yeah,
it,
I'll
yeah.
go with Robo Wolf, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
I also
It
was
should
going
it'll be a
with
good one.
I was also going with Corey because again I made my stance clear. I was taking the favorites in this week. At this point, the non-favorites are mostly non-playoff teams and they've sold. So TBT somehow beating Braden right now. Will it hold? Corey, what do you think?
I don't think so. I would have said that at the start of the week, so I got to go with that regardless. Some really close categories though.
What will you, Kyle?
I gotta go with Mr. Sunday himself.
Yeah, I would have went with Braden at the start of the week, hands down. No issue there.
Yeah.
Travis' team is just fucking trash. Neil in 13th, taking on Domo in 7th. Corey, who do you have here?
No, Domo should win it based on based on the standings, but I don't like his goaltending. But I'm gonna give it to Neil.
Give it to Neil.
I think his goaltending will prevail.
Well, we'll see if it will. Kyle, who you got?
I'll go with Domo. Guy's on a pretty big winning streak right now.
Is he really?
He is. Yeah. I'm not sure how many weeks, but probably at least 4 or 5.
Well, I'm checking now.
I also went with Domo because, again, Neil is not even close to the playoff team, and Domo should beat him. Charlie Browns versus Team Rocket. Let's start with you this time, Kyle. Who do you got?
Well, I gotta go with myself here, but my confidence is waning.
Yeah, not a good start to the week for you.
No, you
Um,
got a shutout. It's killing me in goaltending stats. And the two big things right now working against me is that Hughes injury. Jersey has been tanking since he got injured, and Columbus has been tanking, and that's killing me right in the goaltending stats.
fucking well, speaking of Jersey, Hamilton's out long term too.
Yeah, so they're missing like
Hamilton and
and
Hughes, like
Hughes, and they're getting murdered. Like they won their last game, but they played Columbus. So it was like an 8 goal game. Like not good for me.
Corey, who you got?
Yeah, I would have given this one to Kyle too.
I as well would have given that to Team Rocket. It's not looking good right now, but yeah. So this is our last regular season episode. I look forward to next week playoff talk. I know it's going to suck for 8 teams who don't make the cut, and they should be used to it by now, most of them, because it seems to be the regulars who make the playoffs around here and compete. Maybe pay more attention to what's going on, boys, and learn some lessons here on how to build your fucking team. But anyone have anything to say as we finish the regular season? Start with you, Kyle.
Next week I'll do my usual playoff predictions, and I've predicted the winner over the last 3 years, maybe 4, definitely the last 3. So I'll bring
You
that.
predicted
Got them
Mark?
right.
What's that?
You predicted Mark?
I did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we go back on the tapes on that one too.
I'm interested to see what the stats are this year.
Yeah, yeah. I'll bring that. I'll bring that next week, and I'll make my prediction, which I'm anticipating is going to be Nick Saucier, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anything for you, say Corey?
Domo on a 6 week winning streak right now. His last loss was to you, week 15. So he's not a lot of big teams though along the way, but I'll comment on that because I thought that's pretty impressive. I didn't realize. Kyle, is your stats based on the players they have right now,
It
or how
is,
they did?
and what I do is I average out the last 5 weeks of play, and then I
Perfect.
do
Okay.
a ranking system, and
Yeah.
based on that ranking system, I'll pick who I think is going to win.
Nice. Yeah, something I'm going to prepare for next week too is just going to be kind of a graph that shows the standings throughout the year and just show the ups and downs in people's in the movement in the standings because I think it was pretty interesting this year. A lot of fluctuation throughout the year with who's been at the top and out of the playoffs. So I think it would be good to see.
Well, it sounds
Yeah,
like
I
we
look
have a
forward to
lot
that.
of content planned for next week, which is great. Because we all know that it gets kind of bare come playoff time. So I look forward to that, boys. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Nice afternoon to get this done. You know, thanks for watching,
Yeah.
guys. Good luck to
Thanks for
everyone
having me.
going into the playoffs. Except this week, fuck you, Derek.